Ron DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
And turn us on. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. I am Dr. Pat. I have an exciting announcement for all of you today. I have a very special guest. And, there may be some of you that have heard us do many conversations, Gabriela Embon. And you maybe have heard us talk about Coaching Academy. I know that you've watched the series of The Power of Yes. Then we talked about No the other day, which actually really is probably going to lead to a bunch of other shows. But here's the thing that I want to tell you about. I remember Gabriela telling me, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Gabriela in a second, but I remember Gabriela telling me, I'm going to write a book. I want to write a book. Now, when somebody comes on and walks you through the process, and the process of change, and the process of transformation, and the process of results, and the process of success. And I go through these steps on a blueprint. And I go through the steps on course correction. And I go through the process. This is what, not only this is the way she lives her life, but this is what she teaches others in a coaching academy. So when Gabriela said to me, I want to write a book. I've got to know what the book is going to be about. This is the book we're going to talk to you about today, because I wish I would have had this book like 12 years ago. Actually, I wish I would have had this book like when I was 21 years old. OMG, really? I don't know why people don't talk about couples this way. I just don't get it. Oh, I do know why. Oh, you want to know why? Because they don't have her process. They don't have her blueprint. Not only that, they have not been on the pathway that Gabriela has been on, not just coaching other people, but creating an academy of coaches that helps people across the world understand what it is like to heal, to be in harmony, and to literally accelerate their expansiveness in the world of the dreams they want to manifest. So when Gabriela said to me, I'm going to write a book, I'm thinking, oh, good. Call me in 2 years when your book is out. No, that is not Gabriela Embon. And I'm telling you that if you have not gotten a hold of her, we're going to tell you about her website. If you want to move in the way that she has written this amazing book, ready to go, we're going to talk about it today. The time frame she did it, how she did it, what that was like for her to do it. You're going to hear about that today. But no, it didn't take her 2 years. You have to ask yourself how. See, I know many people are going to do how. That is not the question. That how question will stop you so fast. Why did she want to write the book? Becoming a Power Couple. Are you ready for this? 4 pillars to engineer legendary marriages. This is the book. And when you hear this today, when you hear everything from connecting with your partner to disconnecting with your partner, to thinking your marriage, the natural flow of it should be static, to think about, is there anything called love again? You're going to hear it from a world-renowned expert on life coaching, theta healing teacher, genuinely introducing, creating new coursework, certifications online for you, public speaker, but more importantly, a person who is deeply embedded and committed in her heart to helping you. The fact that she has an engineering background makes this so much easier to understand the multidimensional, multi-layer of life transformation. And that's what this book does. It erases and moves away what I call the trash that is out there that confuses relationships and marriages and gets right to the chase. It's like the Michelangelo. It's like you're starting with a piece of granite and you chip it away. Oh, I don't need that because I want the eye. I don't need that. I want the arm. I don't need that. I do want this. When you see this and when you read this book, you're going to understand the difference between power couples and other couples. And then you're going to be able to ask yourself, which do I want? Without asking yourself, am I really capable of it? Gabriela, it's great to have you on the show. So great to have you in a different format.
So excited to be here, even though we've been talking for almost 2 years. It's my first time at your show. I'm honored. And I don't want you to stop talking. I almost feel like not talking at all because I was listening to you and yeah, it was humbling. Thank you for everything you said.
Look, I want to just tell you a
heart.
little bit about why I love your book, but it's not it. It's a book. I want to say it's a book. Okay, it's a book because I want people to know how to get the book, but it's not just a book. It really is what you talk about. It's a blueprint. And the reason I'm so excited about this, because if you're me, you grew up in a family that didn't really understand love, that didn't really understand marriage, that didn't really understand so many of the things that you and I have talked about over 2 years, but the way that you talk about them in the book, that didn't actually understand that sometimes you say yes and sometimes you say no. And, you know, when you grow up like that, you wonder if you're ever, ever, ever going to learn the things that you need to learn. Now, here's the good news. The good news for me was I met Linda's parents. Both her mother and father mentored me. I understood from her dad what integrity was, what commitment was. I mean, seriously, I was saved at a very young age, at age 22, right? And then they became my family until they both passed. But I want to ask you, many people don't know your story. They don't know your journey. I want to know what was in your heart. I want to know, given everything you've done in order to get to this book, what challenges did you have to overcome? What was it about this topic where you said, I have got to really share what I've learned? What was it, Gabriela?
Okay, so we had to overcome a lot of things in our relationship. But one thing that is very clear to me, what I'm sharing in the book, yes, it's a product of experience and the work we've done, but it's beyond that. I stand on the shoulders of my ancestors when it comes to marriage. I witnessed in both my grandparents, beautiful families, marriages. I saw my grandfathers really adoring their wives. And my parents too. They were a great example of what a healthy, strong marriage. They were a power couple. No doubt they overcame very difficult situations. So I believe that I was blessed by God with my most compatible soulmate. Of course, I had to do a few moves. I had to play some chess. It's how the book starts to get there. It wasn't just, here's your soulmate, easy peasy. But I believe I was blessed with that because I'm meant to share that.
Yeah.
So the book is filled with personal stories as well as stories of my clients. But I think I always say, God, it's hard to say made it easy for me because I think we are where we are as a power couple because the work we've done. But it was meant to be so I can share this work. Mm-hmm. I was gifted with the gift that I'm supposed to pass on. So this is how this book was born. The more I worked with couples, I could see how the way they were doing things was, I don't want to say wrong because everybody has their own truth, but definitely not working for them. And there are better ways. Mm-hmm. And I kept saying, oh, no, we don't do things like that. No, this is not going to lead. This is going to erode your marriage. And it was so frustrating for me to see how people don't know how to build that bond of trust that eventually leads you to become a power couple. How many mistakes? And I thought, okay, I was shown how it's done. I had a good example at home, but many people didn't. It's time to take this knowledge out so others can also bless their marriages. Like mine is blessed. Yesterday, we celebrated 26 years of marriage, 29 years together. And, somebody asked my husband, a colleague at work asked him, 26 years? That's a lot. And my husband said to him, it doesn't feel like it. It felt like it was yesterday. I don't feel the weight of 26 years. I said, okay, well, that's a good sign. So I think that when you realize 26 years is not a lot, because you keep recreating, right? You keep recreating. So
this is what I want to say. I open your book. May I share?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I open your book and, I'm reading your book, and I always read the books. And so I know there's a lot of questions that that people give me to ask, and I'm going to ask them, but I'm not going to ask them all.
No, I told Linda,
but I'm reading your book.
Whatever you want.
I need to point this distinction out before I even ask you this question, but I'm reading your book, and out of the gate, you start, I think it was in the prologue. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I was struck by it. Do I stay or do I go? There's like a whole song, like there's a song about that.
That's right.
And for me, my journey is, do I stay or do I go? And then do I come back? Because for me, my soulmate, right? I went full circle, right? And I don't know where I found the courage to later on in life acknowledge that. Do you know what I mean? But I knew it was in my heart.
Too early. Sometimes we're not ready when we meet our most comfortable soulmate.
Thank you. And I love that question, because I know when I read the rest of the book, all of the principles that you and I have been talking about for 2 years, you put in the book, and I just don't want to blow by them. I want to talk about for a minute the idea of a power couple, because the way you're approaching this is very different than a lot of other languages, books, conversations. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like you could pick up some magazine, but this is very different. Can you tell us the distinction from what was in your heart to what you brought on paper?
Yeah. So let's start with understanding what happens during a relationship. There are 3 stages. This is common knowledge when it comes to relationship. 3 stages we go through. The first stage is the honeymoon stage. That's when we just fell in love and we are under the influence of these beautiful love hormones, chemicals in our body. And that usually lasts from 6 months to 2 years. Now, because we are under the influence of these love hormones, endorphins and dopamines and oxytocin, then we actually see what we want to see. And we tend to see what's really good. And what's not so good, we tend to blur it. But then when those chemicals actually decrease, we enter the second phase of the marriage, which is more the real love. Okay, now I see you for who you are. So sometimes what I was willing to do before, maybe I'm not willing to do when I am not under the influence of these chemicals. Or the things that I found were not an issue at all, now they actually upset me. The things that I found were very cute, now they actually upset me and trigger me the most. So this is when couples enter when that excitement of the novelty and wanting to know you more fades away, we enter that more power struggle phase where now we get triggered by each other, right? If we overcome that gracefully, and there's a reason why we go through that, we're meant to grow out of this if we do marriage properly. If we overcome that, then we enter the third stage, which is the power couple stage. And this is when you're really, really, really having fun. So what is the power couple? To answer your question, a power couple are two individuals that their synergy has an exponential effect. It's not just 1 + 1 = 2. It's more like 1 + 1 = 10. They feel together, they're invisible. They usually relate to each other as, you are my best friend, my confidant, my lover, the person I will never hurt on purpose. I will never step on your wounds on purpose. You are my partner in crime. And we are a unity. They see themselves as a unity. And that means that if you hurt, I hurt. And that obviously affects how we communicate and how we also deal with conflict as a unity or as two separates. That's what a power couple is. It's fun. It's fun to create together. It's fun to dream together. It's fun to overcome things together, to build together.
Yeah. I have to tell you what I love about all of this is the way you just described that. Because the way you describe that in my language is holistic, but it's something else. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I want to tell you my experience from reading the book. It's fascinating, my experience from reading the book, because I go through the book and I knew Gabriela Embon, what Gabriela Embon was going to do was she's going to stay true to herself and give us a model to engineer your legendary marriage. I knew that we were going to get the blueprint. I did. But what I didn't expect was the esoteric nature of how you did that. Right? Look, anybody that knows anything, when people start to talk about engineering on blueprint, right? But that is not what you do. As a matter of fact, that's not what you have done for 2 years in the shows we've done. But what you give us is a way to understand something that's so complex, right? That people can look and say, why is this important to me? Why do I want to learn this? Why is it that so many others are so complicated? But then you start to talk about the me pillar. So let's talk about this and how the blend of the beautiful stories that you put in here, how this beautiful way that you have, it's like a tapestry that you've created. You know what, a tapestry, I don't have any skill in this area. So believe me, this is not even in my wheelhouse, but I appreciate beautiful tapestry. My grandma had horrible arthritis at a very young age. But the one thing she could do is she could make patchwork quilts. Very poor, outhouse, the whole deal, right? But what she could do is she made these patchwork quilts and gave them away. And I watched her take pieces of things and I watched her engineer this. I watched her do it. Lay them out creatively, stitch them together beautifully. And that's what you have done here, right? And yet I can't help, by the end of it, how spiritually moved I was. That is a talent. I don't know if you meant to write the book that way, but I do understand there's an important.
I'm a true believer in the power of creating your life with your most compatible soulmate. I do. As I start the book, I say I always knew I wanted to find my soulmate. I believe that is probably the most important thing we're here to do. And then once we do, to make it exceptional and together create an exceptional life. So it's everything that I believe in. But of course, it's a beautiful vision. But how do we make it a yes? We turn it into actions. We commit to make it happen. So sometimes we fall in love with a vision, but then we don't know how to actually create it. So there is the vision, but then there's also the practical side of how to create it. Because, yeah.
But that's what I love about this. The seduction here for me was, and I love that word seduction, by the way.
Yes.
Okay, I'm saying that like in a really good way. Don't get me wrong on that.
No,
But what I'm trying to say is it was so beautiful and easy, and yet it hits you in the heart, because when you describe this, you really are talking about something special.
I believe in the power of creating extraordinary things.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I gotta love,
and that is done with commitment. That's the only way to do it.
I know.
Because people think that, oh, we love each other, that's going to be enough. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's the great start. You want to be with someone out of love. But love is a feeling. It's not predictable. It's not constant. Sometimes we feel it, sometimes we don't. So we can rely on it to build an extraordinary marriage. We have to rely on something that can be constant because it's up to us. It's in the mindset, it's not a feeling. And that's the commitment. Yeah. So what keeps the relationship together, what makes us go through the hard times and overcome the power struggle to shift into the power couple is the commitment. Yeah. The commitment to the relationship. And then the more you commit and the more you invest, the more you fall in love. Love becomes the byproduct and not the opposite. People look for love as the root. No, love is a byproduct of how you do your marriage. And if you do, because some people don't do anything at all. So the more you know this, the more you invest in your business, the more you fall in love with it. So here's the same.
I love the format of the book because I didn't expect this one thing. And let's talk to this because to your point, about falling in love, you walk us through a series of questions in the book. Boy, do I love them. And I'm going to bring one up right now.
Okay.
But in the book, you go to the bottom line. I love that you did that. I love that, you bottom line, our partner cannot give us what we need to resolve ourselves. So this is what I love about this. You call them bottom lines in the book, but they are this nugget. This nugget of things that we cannot resolve within ourselves. And you tell us, no, your partner can't give it to you. But I want to talk about something that we hear a lot. And I think it's earlier in the book. I wrote it down. Have you noticed that that what you are attracted to now, have you noticed that what you were attracted to is now annoying to you?
Yeah, it's what
I think I paraphrased it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you asked the question. Yeah. But you asked the question like, you shouldn't be surprised of this. And then you go on to really talk about it. But 9 times out of 10, couples are really surprised about that. As if, oh, you changed. Who changed? Yeah. All right, tell us about that one, because I love that one. All y'all that are in relationships here, marriages here, you need to listen to this one, because I know you're thinking, oh, I don't remember you ever being that way. How many times have you said that, right? This is to that point, isn't it?
Yeah. So no, we didn't. The person probably didn't change. I'll give you an example. One of the things that I love about my husband when I met him is how he made me feel. He made me feel that I can accept myself and that I'm enough. And he was also very calm, very relaxed. And I was none of that. Inside, I was like, So eventually when we move past the honeymoon phase, right, his calmness, his relaxed mode would upset me because I would want to I didn't feel like he gives me that feeling that I'm enough anymore. So I was getting into, okay, let's do more, let's accomplish more. And he would be so relaxed. And I'm like, there's no time to relax. We have to run. I'm on a race here to prove that I'm good enough. Yeah, you're not running fast enough with me. So all of a sudden, the fact that he was so chill started annoying me because now I don't feel that temporary feeling that I am enough when I'm with you will fade away. because it's fake. I have to resolve that from within. So when I realized that I don't feel that anymore, I got into my race again to prove that I'm good enough. That was my coping mechanism. Let's achieve, right? I was addicted to achieving to feel that I'm enough. And he was so relaxed. And I'm like, don't relax. You have to race with me, right? So that's what we're talking about. And then that's when you realize, okay, once it used to really be, I used to love your relaxed mode. Now it annoys me. And that's when you realize that, okay, this constant need to prove that I am enough, he cannot give it to me. Well, he actually said it. I would say I realized that after he also said it to me. He said, I can keep up with you because nothing will keep up with you because you need to find that within yourself. So that's what we're talking. You can outsource your happiness to your partner. You cannot blame them for your triggers. I mean, you can, but then you're going to get stuck in the power struggle forever.
Yeah.
And you're going to erode the beautiful bond you built in the honeymoon phase. It is only when you take responsibility and you realize I can use you as a punching bag. I can outsource my happiness to you. This one is on me. I need to take care of the baggage that I brought into this relationship before I met you. That you actually exercise the power of the me pillar, which is personal responsibility, personal awareness, self-regulation, and emotional intelligence needed to build the other three pillars.
Yeah. We're going to take a short break because you just nailed it. That's exactly where I'm going to go. And I love that we're talking about this. We talked about the me pillar. When we come back, there are three others. And you will be surprised at what they are. Right? You're probably thinking, oh, I've heard the pillars of success. And no, this is so different. This is so different. And what I want to say about what Gabriela has done in this book is she hasn't left anything out. When we come back, we're going to introduce you to all four pillars, and then we're going to walk through them slowly and yet powerfully. Because you may be doing a great job on one, but it takes all four. Gabriela, what is the best way for people to get a copy of your book? How do they find out more about you?
Well, they can find my book on gabrielaembon.com, which eventually will lead them to Amazon, or they can go directly to Amazon, Google Gabriela Embon, and they will find Becoming a Power Couple. This will find this one.
I love it. Let's take a short break, everybody. We will be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Dr. Pat Show. For more information about me, you can always go to Transformation Talk Radio or the Transformation Network. For more information about our upcoming, especially my upcoming workshops, you want to look up Unstuckable. Yes, that's not really a word. I literally made that up, but go to unstuckable.com. We're going to be doing a whole lot of cool things. But the one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to be working with couples. So don't call me on that. Call Gabriela. Gabriela, can you tell people again, how do they get a copy of this fabulous book? And then I want to spend a moment because, a lot of the work that you and I have done together have been about the Coaching Academy. And I want people to understand that, you have a professional platform, they can go to your website. But this is about becoming a power couple. These are the four pillars of engineer legendary marriages. How do you do that? And we're going to go into that. But beyond this, you also coach with individuals, couples. You speak about it. You're there to help them, to walk them through everything you've put in a book because you've walked through it. So how do people find out about you?
You can go to my website, gabrielaembon.com. And they'll find my services for individuals and couples there. Yeah, and contact me.
Now, there's a lot in the book we're not going to get to today. That's why you have to get the book. But the thing that I'm most struck by in the book, and, when I saw it, and I knew you were going to talk about the pillars, I had no idea of what you were going to describe. I thought it was going to be I really did think it was going to be totally different. So I want to take a moment. We just talked about the pillar called me. I would love for you to share what the others are. And I want to walk through them today, not just to explain what they are, but to explain the importance of understanding how all four of these pillars work together to become a power couple.
That's why it's like a chair. You need the 4 legs, otherwise it won't be stable. And if
Right.
it's not stable, people cannot sit on it, right? You might have one person sit on the chair, maybe two, maybe the couple, but the moment you start putting children on top of that chair, it's going to crumble. So you do need four legs. So the other pillars, as you said, the first one is the me, the second is the you, and this one is about your partner and how you relate to your partner, how you see your partner. The third pillar is the our. So what is our, like your children, your finances, your home, your assets, pretty much like a business that has assets, rules and responsibilities, like a partnership. And the fourth pillar is the us. So the first two are the individual, you, me. The second is what we have, what we are creating together. And the fourth pillar is the us. And us is you and me looking at each other as a union. It's the true intimacy of seeing each other truly, beyond the roles we play. These are the 4 pillars.
Part of the problem is that when we're looking at the course of action and when we're looking at the direction we go in, may I do this? So often, I just got a question that came in. I apologize if you heard my keyboard. I was trying to get back to the person that sent a chat question in, so I got to ask you the chat question.
Yes.
So I apologize for that. May I ask you, the question is this, and this is in your book.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Dr. P. People call me Dr. P. Hi, Dr. P. And they gave you a nickname. I'm sure you don't call yourself Gabby, but I'm just going to let that go.
Oh, I do actually.
Oh, you do?
Family and
Okay.
friends call me Gabby. So
okay. All right. Cool. Hi, Dr. P and Gabby. Oh my goodness. I want to ask you a question. This is right in your book. I'm sure everything's abbreviated in chat room, so I apologize for taking forever to read this. Hello. I want to ask you about this. There have been times in my relation, I love my partner.
Good.
I love my partner. But some days I feel like what we had and what we have is eroding. Now, I know there's a part in your book about that. I just don't remember where. I'm not giving up. Dr. Pat, as you said on the show the other day, I'm not ready to fold them. I'm still ready to hold them. But I literally don't know if I'm right about what I feel, and I clearly don't know what to do. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy, for asking. What a beautiful question. So first of all, feeling right or wrong doesn't exist. You're feeling what you're feeling, right? And if you're feeling your relationship is eroding, it's probably not what you would like it to be. It's actually so powerful because relationships either erode or grow. I don't think they can become stagnant. That concept doesn't exist. In terms of, first of all, congratulations on wanting to do something and acknowledging that you might not yet the what, but you want. That's commitment. And also believing that sometimes we need to start doing before our partner is ready to join. So that's okay too, by the way. Sometimes you say, oh, my partner is not 100% in. Well, if you are, then you start, right? That's the beauty of a couple, right? Yeah. It's not 50-50.
Oh, see, that's it.
It's not 50-50. Divorce
thank
is 50-50.
You.
Divorce
thank
is
you.
50-50. And these are not my words. This is Manny Friedman's words. It's 100 and 100.
Thank
so you do your 100. Yeah. And sometimes
let's talk about this because we play the 50-50 game. Let's just be really honest with this, right? Most couples, I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at you, Nancy. But you know what I'm trying to say. Most of us play that 50-50 game. We don't play the 100-100 game, right?
Yes, that's right. That's why we don't do marriage. We don't do marriage development. So when you are committed to do marriage development, you play 100. If you had a business that the success of the business was to pay your mortgage and give your children what they need, you wouldn't play 50-50 with your business partner. You would play 100. So why wouldn't we do the same when it comes to marriage, right?
Yeah.
So what to do is to really start working with the 4 pillars. In the book, we describe the 4 pillars. And when you're reading the book, you will get a feeling which pillar is less likely to be which pillar, sorry, is the one that is causing the most trouble per se, or which pillar is missing. So of course, it would be much easier to give advice if we knew exactly what do you feel is missing.
Yeah.
But a great way to start when you don't know where to start is to start building connection. I'm not even talking about communication, because communication without connection is very difficult.
It's just words.
That's right.
It's
so
just
you want
words.
to start building connection now. So what can I do to build connection? There are things that are universal that we can all do. For example, hugging your partner in the morning when you wake up. If you wake up at the same time, more or less, hugging in bed. Kissing each other hello and goodbye while looking in the eyes. Giving each other a hug. Touch is very, very important. I'm not talking about sexual intimacy. I'm talking about that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, because here's what you say in the book. Okay, there's one thing I wrote, I just grabbed it out of the book, which we don't do. The first component, and this is what we're taught this, get to know your partner. No, that's not what you're saying. The first component, know and study your partner. Wow. And so what you're saying here in really parallel to understanding what to do. I mean, look, if your partner doesn't like you to kiss them on the cheek with your red lipstick, that probably is not going to work in the morning. But if you learn and study each other in a very, I want to say this, non-judgmental way. See, we're not asking you to write your list of pros and cons about your person, right? That's not what this is about. And I think these are the things you mentioned. And then from there, you walk us through things that I don't think people are going to expect in this book. What do you say next? Generosity.
You have to start building connection, and you have to start becoming a true friend. Whatever it is, study your partner, understand their love languages, understand your love language, and try to understand their love language based on what you read. You can read the book, The 5 Love Languages, so you can love them the way they feel loved. Usually when people pull back, it's either because they are upset and frustrated with the partner, or they're upset and frustrated with the way they make you feel. They feel bad, they feel guilty, especially for men. Yeah. Men, when they feel guilty or they feel they were wrong, they will pull back because they don't want to feel that feeling. So if you make your partner feel good, if you compliment them, if you make them feel you are my person, you are my partner, you are that for me, whether it's you are my man, my woman, it doesn't matter, you are my partner, then you're going to start connecting. Yeah. To connect, for somebody to want to connect, it has to feel good. What can you do that your partner will feel he's doing good with you? Is it that you compliment him if that's his love language? Is it that you walk around with a smile in the house? Is it that you look at him in the eyes in the morning and wish him a good day or her a good day? Is it that when they come home, even if you are in a different floor, you go to the entrance and you greet them? Is it that instead of yelling at them from the other room and summoning them, come here, you just go to them and you talk to them? Generosity that you mentioned is huge because we usually fall in love with what we invest in. So when you actually do nice to other people, you develop love for them. So if you feel the relationship is eroding before you deal with communication and the vision and all of that, start the connection. Bring the connection back.
I think this next question is coming from my cousin because it came in on my phone. This is what I love about this. You see, whenever you do a show with me, I have all of these people on my phone that I rarely look at. They don't really let me do a lot of social media because of like stuff I post wrong, but I have special messages. I think this one is from my couples. Thank you, doctor. Thank you. Do I call it? This has got to be from my cousin. I can't read it all. Thank you, Dr. P. When did you become that? Aren't you? Never mind. I have so many nicknames. Are you Ping Pong Patty today? Okay. Ask this question to your guest. Gabby, now they're calling you. Hello.
I love it.
Please ask this question. Are you only, this is Mike, I'm sure, are you only talking about heterosexual couples because I'm married?
No.
But
we all have a desire.
And just let me answer the question. No, we didn't. Actually, we don't say that, nor is there any reference to that anywhere in the book. No. So when you get the book, and it sounds like you really want the book here, if you're my cousin, this is about marriages and relationships. And now we know that in our country, but you may be traveling, but in multiple places, especially where you're calling me from Hawaii. This is Hawaii. Yes, this applies across the board. Good point, isn't it?
Listen, it doesn't matter whether it's heterosexual or homosexual marriage. We all have the same desire to be loved by a partner, to feel seen, to feel connected. So the book doesn't relate to husband and wife per se, it relates to partners.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to point that out because you're absolutely right about that. And yet at the same time, I'm going to jump ahead because there's something in the third pillar that I think relates to the fourth pillar. And I want to bring it up and I would love for you to talk about it. We've covered or touched a few things in each of the pillars, but we end up the third pillar with something I studied for over 10 years. I literally have empirical research on respect, believe it or not. Why? Because in my own life, it was elusive. I didn't come from a family like that. It was hard to define. And I want to talk about that as we bridge the conversation to the hour pillar. I didn't expect you to talk about respect, but I know you better to know that it had to show up.
Of course. It's the basic. It's respect for so many things. Respect is, first of all, don't try to change your partner. Not that there are not things that would be better changing, but you don't try to change your partner. Respect means that I respect who you are. I respect your uniqueness, the way you think, the way you act, the way you operate. Everybody has a unique design. So if you don't multitask and you work one step at a time, I won't expect you to multitask, or I won't put you down because you don't multitask, because I'll understand this is how your brain works. Respect also for the space. If I want to talk to you, I'll ask you, is this a good time? Can we talk? And not assume that what I like is better than what you like. So respect for your time, respect for your space, respect for who you are and your design, for your dreams, right? And also, behaving in a respectful way. Like I said, don't yell at your partner from the other room. They're not your pet. You want to talk to them? Then make the effort to go to where they are and say, can we talk? I would like to discuss something. Is this a good time? Of course, respect can, we can take respect so much more deeper than that. We can say it's, of course, not calling names, but the biggest respect that you can give to your partner is not to assume you know what they want or who they are. And when couples fight, they go, well, this is who they are. No, if your partner did something that was hurtful, it's not because this is who they are. It's because there's a reason. They obviously are reacting to something. Don't assume it's who they are. Don't label them, right? Try to understand where they're coming from, why they did what they did, what's behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working with a couple just an hour before our show, and I told them the worst that you can do is assume that you know where they're coming from and who they are and what they want. That will always keep you at the surface level. If you want to become a power couple, you cannot stay at the surface level. You have to go high and low. Let me explain. When I say high, it means you need to have the highest vision of you as a family, as individuals, as a couple. There is a shared vision that contains, it's a container for everybody's dreams and the dream of you as a couple and your children and your home and your vacations and your milestones. So that's the high perspective. Why is that important? That's important because if I don't know where we're going and you bring a suggestion for a new project, I might just say, I don't feel like it. No. But if we discuss everything in relation to where we're going, then we can move forward together. And also, we don't get back down by everyday stuff because we have a vision. So high is where we start, where we're going as a couple. And then low means if you end a conflict defaulting to your coping mechanisms, you didn't go deep enough. Deep enough means when you understand, when you share, when you were vulnerable and share your truth. And you understand, you might not agree, you might still hurt, but you understand.
Yeah.
Meaning you're not defaulting to your coping mechanisms. Your ego is at peace at this moment. Yeah. So don't end it at the surface. Go as deep as you can, because the deeper connection and the bond of trust is in the depths and in the vision. So high and low.
And, can we talk about that? Because in the book, and again, I'm going to paraphrase, so I apologize if I don't get it exactly right, but I believe you say you have to create the highest vision of your marriage. You have to create the highest vision of your partnership. And I have to tell you, this is so seriously important. I had my coach say to me the other day, and this applies to marriages. This applies across the board. This is actually one of my little sound bites that I remember. My coach said to me the other day, Pat, when did you decide that you were going to play not to lose instead of playing to win? And what he was saying to me, that's a different energy. If you play a sport or you play a game, I don't care what you play, you're always on the defense. You're not really taking that next step to really achieve that next level you want to get at. Right. And so when you ask that question in the book, sometimes you need to work with a Gabriela to help you set the highest vision, because I'm not sure what it is about us, but we are so tentative about setting the most beautiful vision for a business, but for a relationship, whoa. But you're saying in the book, you got to do it.
Of course. I mean, that makes sense when it comes to, as you said, as a business or even a company, right? The company will set the mission and the vision so everybody's working towards a common goal. But as you said, people do personal development, they do career development, business development, and then we forget to apply those principles into marriage development. And the thing is this, if you want to be a union, you have to move as a union. Mm. Where are you moving towards together if you don't know where you're going? And if you're not if you're not working towards a common goal, you will be solving problems all the time. You'll be working to solve problems together, because that's going to keep you as a union. But you really get to choose. Are we going to use our union to create, or are we going to use our union to defend ourselves from situations, being defensive? And that's truly a choice. So when couples are all the time putting on fires, I'm like, you're not creating a vision. You're not moving together towards common goals.
And by the very nature of that, you're separating. I don't mean physically, but there's an emotional and spiritual thing that happens.
Erosion that happens.
Thank you. Erosion.
Yeah. Because erosion is chipping away.
Chipping away.
And what we want to do is always build a bond of trust.
Yeah.
So connection, respect, all of that builds a bond of trust.
Yeah. I love this. Look, I know we're coming to the end and I want to know your personal message, but one of my coaches said to me the other day, Pat, you need new rubber on your bat. And I said, yeah, I'm going to get it. And this is like 2 months ago. And so the other day he said, Pat, when are you going to get the new rubber on your bat? And I said, I'm going to get it. Okay. And then he said to me, you're asking me to coach you to perfect something on a piece of equipment that has seriously eroded over time.
It's going to break.
Thank you. And what he said is, you're going to continue to work harder and harder and harder. You're going to ruin your form. You're going to become discouraged. You're going to want me to coach you more because you're trying to do something that what you're using is incapable to do. And see, that's what sometimes happens if we're not aware of what you've put in the book. We will take something, it'll continue to erode. We'll keep trying the same thing over and over again, and it'll keep eroding. And this is time to learn something new. And I think that's what your book is teaching us. And I wanted to thank you personally for that.
Thank you.
Because we do keep doing the same things over and over and over and over again and expecting different results.
Insanity. Didn't he say that?
Insanity. That is the definition. Gabriela, thank you so much. Please give out your website. How do we get a copy of the book? And I'd love to know your personal message.
So the book is found on Amazon. You can search my name or just the title of the book, Gabriela Embon, or Becoming a Power Couple. And my website, gabrielaembon.com. Also, you can get the book there. Look, I want to end with two things. One is I love Esther Perel's words.
Yes.
She says, you know, today in the Western world, most people experience different relationships. We get to choose if we want to do that with our own partner. We don't need to change partners. We can recreate a marriage within our partner. We can restart, reinvent, make it better. We can always become a power couple. It's never too late. And that's what's important, is to commit yourself to something that matters. And for people who say, and that's really the message, I don't have the time, I want to remind you that you are one energetic being. Your aura is not divided in life sections: career, relationship, sports, finances. No, you are one being. And sometimes when you invest in your relationship, in your marriage, everything else will actually work out. I've seen couples that once they work on their marriage, their business got resolved just like that. That's right. Without doing anything on their business. Just because they committed to their marriage, then the business took care of itself. So think about what matters, because if you have a partner, God willing, you'll age together, right? The children will live. If you have children, they'll live. They'll start their own lives. The business, you will retire eventually. This is the person you're going to age with. This is your retirement plan. People put money on their retirement plan. How about putting investment in your marriage as a retirement plan?
I love it. Gabriela, you rock. Again, I want to make sure you understand how to get to Gabriela's site. And the best way to do that is Gabriela Embon. And let me just spell it for you, because I did get a little message in here asking.
Yeah, one L. It's the Spanish version.
It's the Gabriela and then Embon, E-M-B-O-N. That's it, Gabriela Embon. The other thing I want to tell you is Coaching Academy. If you want to know more about the Coaching Academy, we do a whole nother show on that. It's coachingacademy.net, correct, Gabriela?
That's right.
All right. There's so much more in the book. Gabriela, I cannot thank you enough for writing a book that everybody, no matter where they are in their life, no matter what level that they think they are, it is easy to understand, but boy, does it hit the heart. Thank you so much for all of that.
Thank you, Dr. Pat, for having me.
You bet. Emily, thank you for hitting the right buttons. And to all of you out there, there will be another replay of this show. We'll let you know. And we are going to replay it on our AM/FM station as well. So yes, I answered all of your questions without typing and having you hear my keyboard. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next time.